You gotta be kidding me!
Welcome back to yet another review of the new Hearthstone expansion, Rise of Shadows. This time we are going through all the Hunter cards, and if you don't already know, I'm doing 5 candles. Take 5 candles of the constructed scene and the arena scene. I'm going to give you my quick ratings because we got a lot to get through, but I do them all. Well, I'm going to do them all, and you can check them all out on YouTube. But this one is for Hunters, new cards. Let's start it off, huh? Shall we? Rapid fire twin spell, deal 1 damage. Get another one, deal 1 damage. This card's very good, actually, and it's even decent in arena. It's not crazy in arena, but it's at least decent because value is generally good, almost always, right? Especially in arena. So this is good in arena. I would say this is a 3 candle. Damn it. This is a 3 candle in arena, and I would say in constructed, man, this one is tough. I'm gonna give it 3.5. I think it's there's some spell damage synergies that can work, and I think it's just good enough to make it in not all decks. Although maybe all hunters need to have a card like this just for a slight removal or something, but I don't think this is going to be a deck defining card. I think it's going to be maybe in some decks just because it's a good filler and it does a good job of what it needs to do. I think that's what I'm going with. It's just a solid card overall, I think. Next up we have Ursatron. Deathrattle, draw a mech from your deck. This is pretty good. You just draw a mech. I mean, obviously, if you're looking for a combo, this will help you out. It'll draw the 1 mech, or if you already have it, or whatever the case may be, this can do it. And it's obviously a mech itself. The stats are just fine. If it was a 3/4, I think this card would definitely be played. But the fact that it's a 3/3, I think it's good and constructed for a specific type of deck. Obviously, you gotta have mechs. Will there be super mech synergy? There definitely are some now, and there definitely are some combos that can happen, but I think overall, I don't think it's too great. 3.5. As far as arena, this card is pretty damn good. Drawing a mech anytime, I mean, 3/3 in arena is pretty good stats. But I actually think this is a 4.5 star, not 5. But anything that gives you cards, gives you value, and it doesn't really take away from tempo, pretty damn good in my book. Next up we have yet another common 4 mana mark shot, deal 4 damage to a minion. To a minion, not the face. Discover a spell. I think this card is pretty damn good. Doing 4 damage is pretty good, especially to the face, but to a minion it's pretty good. They have it in Warlock for 3 mana, and it is amazing in arena, but in constructed it's not really used. It sort of sees that, but this one you get another spell, and almost every one of Hunter's spells I would say are pretty good, and you discover it, so you get to pick between 3. To not find one that lines up maybe towards your game plan, I think is rare. So I think this card is actually pretty damn good. If it went face, this card would be kind of ridiculous, I think, as it stands now. But I do think this is a 3.5, and I think in arena, I think there's another 4.5 stars. It's kind of gross in arena, actually. Next up, we have Shimmer Fly. Shimmer Fly. What do we got? We got something that is a 1 mana. Deathrattle, add a random hunter spell to your hand. Wonder if this card's good. Yep. I don't know why you would not put this in just about everything. Again, it's gonna be 5 candles. It's gonna be pretty tough to get because 5 candles basically has to almost make or break a deck or something. So this card is ridiculously good because it's super cheap, has the beast tag, and you get a free spell. So I mean, a 1/1 stat isn't great, but you get a free spell. Generally, you want this early on. Later, even later, it can be pretty decent. I mean, you might need something. Maybe this gives you a way out. But yeah, this card is ridiculously good. It's so cheap. It has the beast tag, gives you a free card. I don't know what else to say about it. It's damn good. Hunting party. Copy all beasts in your hand. terrible. This card is bad. I don't understand. Okay, 5 mana is crazy. So let's say best case scenario, you have a bunch of minions in your hand. In fact, you have 5 because it could only copy 5, and then you would, you know, either the other 5 you have to, other 5 mana you'd have to play something, or you'd burn a card next turn. It just, if it shuffled it in your deck or something, or if it was way less mana, I just don't, I feel like Hunter's a little bit too fast for this. This seems a little slow, even mid-range. I mean, the loss the hero, losing Rexar kind of crushed Hunter, honestly. That was like the best hero card, and this is not good. Arena, you have to have a very specific deck in Arena for this to be any good. I would almost never pick this unless I had just huge minions, but then at that point, if you're winning anyway, you're probably gonna win anyway. Like, if you're winning, you're probably going to win with Hunter, especially, because I don't know, I think this card is awful. I'm gonna give this 1.5 in constructed, because there might be some sort of, maybe you can get 2 of some minion I'm not thinking about, and if you have 2 it's crazy or something. I don't know, I'm not thinking about it, but it probably seems pretty fringe case regardless. And 1 in Arena, disgustingly bad. There's something later that will make a combo with this kind of ridiculous, but right now terrible. Anyways, Unleash the Beast. Unleash the Beast, say that 5 times fast. Twin spell, summon a 5/5 Wyvern with Rush. 6 mana. If this was 5 mana, I would say this is definitely good. 6 mana, I think it's okay. That 1 mana kind of messes this card up. Now, granted, it is a twin spell, but you can't play 2 on 1 turn. I think that's a big deal, honestly. I think that's a big deal. 5/5 with Rush. 5/5. Now, Wyvern is actually different than a dragon, but they might tag it as a dragon. I'm not sure. Man, this one's a little tough to rate. I think this is in constructed. It's not going to be used. I think it's going to be 2 in constructed. I think in Arena, though, I think it's going to be decent in Arena. 3.5. It's a weird card. I just, there's got to be better options. Maybe this is good since they're losing a little bit of removal with the new expansion, but I just don't think it's that great of a card. 9 lives, 3 mana, discover a friendly Deathrattle minion that also, or that died this game, also triggers Deathrattle. I think this card's ridiculous. I think it's awesome. It's just awesome. I mean, imagine if Sylvanas was still playing, and then Sylvanas was your only Deathrattle or something like that. You play this as broken. Like, obviously Sylvanas isn't in the game, which is, or not in standard, which is a little lame. I mean, it was super strong, but damn, up the mana or something. Do something. Like, this card's crazy. There's something you can do with this that I don't know yet, because I gotta tinker with the cards and see them in front of my face. I know this card is ridiculous. I know it is, and I know it's gonna have some crazy combos. So I'm gonna give it 4.5 for each Arena and constructed, because it just is that good. Deathrattle is like, if you have this card early on in your Arena draft, you're gonna pick Deathrattles that are awesome. And 3 mana to do the Deathrattle, like, I don't know, you get the card, you trigger its Deathrattle. Sometimes the Deathrattle is worth more than the card. I just think this card is gonna be crazy. I think the card's very good, and I think it's gonna do pretty well in mid-range. That's what I think. 4 mana, Arcane Fletcher. Whenever you play a 1-cost minion, draw a spell from your deck. I think this card's bad. The problem is, okay, I play this on turn 4. It dies. Oh, that sucks. I don't have it anymore. All right, so you're gonna play it on turn 6 and draw 2 spells. Okay, I don't know. I don't think there's enough good spells to warrant this being good for Hunter. Now, if this was Mage, that might be a different story, but for Hunter, I don't know if there's enough for that to work. I don't know. I'm not seeing it yet. Maybe, I'm sure there's something that I don't know, or maybe you have limited spells, but Hunter usually actually has a lot of spells. In fact, there was Spell Hunter where it was literally only spells. So I don't know. I just don't think this card's that good in constructed. And in Arena, Again, it's a little too situational. If you have a 1 mana card on turn 5, maybe it's okay, but again, it's a little bit situational. So I'm gonna give it 2 stars in constructed, and I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars, I guess. I think I'm being a little bit generous, honestly, for arena, but I just don't think this is a very good card for Hunter especially. Now we get on to the legendaries, the legs. Oblivion, 6 mana, 3/4, terrible stats. Deathrattle, summon a mech from your hand and trigger its Deathrattle. Now there are mechs that have Deathrattles that are kind of crazy. And what kind of crazy synergies will this have? And this has a synergy with the previous card, the 3 mana spell that triggers Deathrattles and gives you the card. So there's a lot of synergies that like sort of recycle themselves into each other. And is this good enough? It has a Deathrattle though. The Deathrattle, it has to die. Not a battle cry. If it was a battle cry, I would say this card is pretty interesting. But the Deathrattle, that means it could be silenced. That means they could just not kill it or ignore it as best they can or whatever the case. That's my problem with this card. Like I don't know. I think there's gonna be some crazy combos, but it just might be a little bit too slow, and it might be too long before they can break it out. I mean, the Carnivorous Cube is gone. Like all these things that were awesome are gone now, and just don't know if this is gonna work. So I'm gonna go with my gut reaction here, and I'm gonna say initially, I'm gonna say it's bad. So I'm gonna give it a 2.5 for that one. For constructed, and then I'm gonna give it just so bad in arena. I'm gonna give it 1 in arena. It just like if it works in arena, it's like out of control, I think, but it's just not gonna work. You just rarely get those synergies, so I think it's terrible in arena. Awful, absolutely awful. And next legendary we have here, Varisa, Windrana, Battlecry equipped Thoradal, the Star's Fury. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Thoradal is a weapon that when you use it, you get 2 spell damage or something like that. So that's interesting. It definitely helps with the twin spell with the 1 mana damage, but is that enough for this? And it might be, honestly. It might sound weird. Now, if this was a beast, I think this would be crazy. Obviously, she is not a beast. Maybe she is with the 3 arrows here, but I think if it was a beast, I could see this being very interesting, because then you have kill command, and that would do, you know, 7 damage or whatever to the face, and I could see that being a pretty interesting thing at the end. I think it's a 4/2 weapon, a 4/3 weapon. I should have probably looked that up, honestly, but yeah, I think this card has a use in sort of a face hunter, as like a final, almost like a final boss. You draw this card when you have like 1 or 2 spells in your hand, and you attack face, you do damage to the face. So I think in those type of decks, this is actually pretty good. I'm gonna say this card is, I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be. I think it's a 4-star card for a specific type of deck, and I think it'll work because I think a lot of decks are gonna be a little bit slower. Now, this probably won't work against like a heal druid or a warrior or something like that, but against other decks that are maybe a little bit slow or mid-rangey, I think this will work. Yeah, and I think for arena, this actually is the same. I think it's actually just as good, because you get a weapon with the card, so that's generally always good. Even if you didn't get the spell damage, which doesn't really matter as much in arena, I think. Yeah, then it would still be good. Because the 5/6 stat line's not like crazy terrible. It's obviously not good for 7 mana, but it's good enough, and that's all you need. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this review. Tell me what you think about the new Rise of Shadows business. Put it in the comments below. Obviously, watch all the other class reviews and card reviews, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you think, and I will be back.